Hey, it's Emma, Nurse Fern. Welcome to my living room. Today, I'm going to chat a little bit about frequently asked questions I get about remote nursing positions. I run a job board that is specifically geared towards nurses who do not have experience in the common roles that you would get as a remote nurse. So I find positions that you can transition from bedside into one of these roles like utilization management or case management, data abstraction, things like that. But today, we're going to chat about frequently asked questions in the remote nursing world, like things that aren't super obvious, I guess, but things I get asked all the time. Also, grunts from the dog over there. Facts of working at home. Your dog's going to be with you. Big question, how do you start or where do you look for remote nursing jobs? This is a little bit different because if you're like me, you were used to looking for your local hospital systems, going on their career pages, and then when you were employed by a hospital system, you would go to the internal job posting if you wanted to move around. That's how I ended up getting into CDI, clinical documentation integrity originally. If you are looking specifically for a remote nursing position, there are a couple places that I really like to look. And obviously now, one of my favorite spots is my own job board, which you can find a link to below. But I also have a few places that I personally look on a daily basis for the positions that I share on the Nurse Fern job site. They include Flex Jobs, which is a site that is geared entirely towards partial remote or full remote work. And they do have a trial. I think they have a trial, but they have a really inexpensive introductory period that you can try it out because it is a pay site. But I do like them because you have to pay to play. So you know, for the most part, you're going to get good information. And when they do put out job posts that are kind of scammy or they discover are inappropriate, they send you emails right away and let you know, which I really like because one of the biggest fears in remote nursing, since it's not a tangible location anymore, is this a scam? LinkedIn Jobs is a great resource. Companies directly post positions on there. And not only can you often link to the recruiter who posted the position, but you can go look at the company site, find out more information. You can even see how many people have applied for that position through LinkedIn. And then I like to talk about the job site that is sometimes a necessary evil, but I loathe it. And that is Indeed. I don't recommend you apply directly for jobs through Indeed. If you do find a position on there, your best bet is to always immediately find that company and try and find the original job posting. My third favorite way to find remote jobs is to look directly on company websites. Once again, if you reference my personal job board, you will see that I have a running list of companies who have recently closed positions and what the titles were. This will help you in your search for finding those. Go to those company career pages, look for those jobs. Often, I just go to a company career page and type in nurse. And then for locations, a lot of them have an option where you can click telephonic. That's my favorite. It just makes it easy. And then I click on that and start going through positions. Sometimes they don't have the remote telephonic option. Quick tip that I forgot to tell you a moment ago, LinkedIn has it where you can set it for full remote. When you are able to go directly to a company website and apply on their own system, you have a much higher chance that a recruiter is actually going to see your application. Third-party sites are not my favorite because you just never know if it's really making it to the right people. If you need some additional tips on how to search for remote nursing positions, you can also click on the link below for the free remote nursing guide. Another big question I get is whether you need a compact nursing license. If this is the first time you're hearing of this, the compact license is through the NLC, the Nurse Licensure Compact, and it is currently an agreement between states that if you reside in one of those states, you can apply for a license that allows you to practice in all of them. You do have to maintain a primary residence in an NLC state. So if you're like me and you have your license in California, we're not part of the compact. Compact license is not good or bad when it comes to looking for remote roles. Many major companies do say that they prefer that you have one. Doing any work in any of those, they've got you covered. Now, most companies have departments and big resources that if they hire you and you are not licensed in all the states that they want, they will help you get licensed in the other ones. So it's not a huge deal, and it can seem like it's a bit of a negative if you don't have it, since so many jobs do say that they prefer compact. But then at the same time, if your state isn't part of the compact, you have lower competition. You can find out a lot more information on the Nurse Licensure Compact at ncbsn.org. They also have a really handy map where you can see all the states that are part of it. Is this just for RNs or is it for LVNs and LPNs too? It's for all nurses. I will say that it is much easier and you will find many more positions posted for registered nurses, RNs, but there are jobs to be found for LVNs and LPNs as well. If you're only seeing RN, I do try and post as many of the LVN, LPN ones as I can. Another question I get a lot of is, I'm an ER nurse, I work on oncology, I work in maternal health, can I work remotely? And the answer is yeah. A lot of these positions really just want you to have the acute care experience and the developed clinical analytical skills that you can apply to another nursing position like case management or utilization review. There are some specialties that do lend themselves better to other positions, and you will often see them as requirements. And I've got a nifty little list here that I'm going to refer to. But if you are an oncology nurse, you will likely be qualified for data abstraction type positions. A lot of those jobs have to do with studies with cancer, so they want nurses that are well versed in chemo and treatment. If you're in the ER, telephone triage is an accessible role for you. You'll find these under names like telephone triage or nurse line, advice line, things like that. If you are an OR nurse, prior auth, coding, clinical documentation improvement. Just because you haven't had a traditional bedside role in like med surg or ICU or something doesn't mean that you're cut out of the pack here. If you're in maternal health, there are specific maternal health case management positions, and you are. Same goes for NICU. I see positions that specifically call out looking for maternal health and NICU. Behavioral health. Behavioral health case management is a specific job title I see a lot, and it is growing with insurance companies. Critical care. Everybody wants critical care, so pretty much the world is your oyster. I say this as prior critical care nursing experience, but we all know everybody always wants them. Who hires remote nurses? Remote nurses are employed by tons of different companies. The major ones that you will see are insurance companies and acute care hospitals. Chances are you probably didn't even know nurses work remotely for the hospital that you are at. I, for one, never would have guessed that the hospital that I currently work for had nurses working remotely. And it's easy to realize why, because you never see them. But besides insurance companies and acute care hospitals, staffing companies are filling positions for corporations, insurance companies, hospitals. It's a great way a lot of the time to get into a position and then go from contract to hire. There are also consulting firms, pharmacology groups, triage, like specialty triage groups that are looking for nurses to work from home for them. Probably one of my saddest and most popular questions, and it's sad just because I don't have the right answer that I want or you want. Can you travel and work remotely? So this is nurses asking, like, can I live the RV life or travel around the country or the world? Do I have to be in one place? And I don't have the answer that you're wanting to hear from me, but most companies do want you to be stationary in your home, in an office that has a private VPN or direct connection to the internet. Companies do not like the idea that you will be traveling around with public health information, possibly on insecure networks. They will often require that you are in a very safe place, which makes sense for the information that we are handling in the healthcare world. Now, I'm giving you answers that I know go along with company policies. You will see on forums online that nurses are finding workarounds for this. I will never publicly recommend, because I don't want you to get fired. I want you to find a remote nursing job that you like, and I want you to keep it and excel at it. I have sucked you in for this entire video to bring you the most popular question, and that is, does remote nursing pay well? There's not a great answer for this one. It completely depends, and I know you hate that answer, but it is the truth, and I will always tell you the truth. And I do err on the side of being conservative. The true nature of it is that there are just too many variables. Look at even just the bedside nursing pay throughout our country. It varies from anywhere from under $20 an hour to upwards of $100 and above. There are a few things that can help determine your pay rate though. When you're looking at major insurance company sites, they tend to follow this better than others, but Colorado has passed a law that you have to post the salary range for positions. So if you know how your state kind of is based off Colorado, you can see what they post for that. If you live in a low cost or mid cost of living area in the United States, you are likely to meet or get a better salary than what you are making at the bedside. If you live in a high cost of living area, you might end up accepting less than you make at the bedside. It's just the way it is. I'm not saying it's fair. Location, geographics, you, the company, there's too many variables to be able to say if the particular job you are looking for is going to pay well, pay better, or not. Are there part-time and per diem remote roles? There are. They are not as abundant as full-time. Companies are looking for nurses to fill full-time positions. They're corporations. They're looking for that 5 days a week, 9 to 5 person to come in and fill a full-time role. There are exceptions where you will find some part-time and per diem or contract 10 to 20 hour a week positions. They are not as common. I personally post them whenever I find them because I know they are rare, but you are going to be looking probably for longer if that is your ultimate goal. Some positions lend themselves to being a per diem or part-time more than others. The two big ones are telephone triage because it's a 24-hour operation, and data abstraction because you are going through patient charts and pulling data. This is another hot topic question, but can you work remotely as a new grad? It is going to be really, really hard to find a new grad position remotely. At the time of recording this video, I only know one company that consistently hires new grad, and that is Anthem. So if that is something you are interested in, I would consistently, and by consistently, I mean daily, check the Anthem website for clinical reviewer and associate level positions, because those are the only positions on the Anthem site that I have found that do not require a certain number of years of clinical experience. Most of the jobs that are posted for remote work, what I call entry-level remote roles, really are roles that require 3 to 5 years of acute care experience. So while they are entry-level for the remote world, they are not entry-level nursing. Do you need specialty certifications? You'll often see in job posts that critical care management or CCDS, a coding cert, things like that are preferred. I will only post jobs that they are preferred and not required, but then inevitably, because we're nurses, everybody wants to know if you get a certification, if it'll give you a competitive edge. All of the certifications that mean anything to these companies, and also pretty much in the acute care world, are certifications that require that you have been in a position for a certain number of years. So if you have never been a case manager before, you cannot get the official case management certification. If you've not been in clinical documentation for a certain number of years, you can't get your CCDS. I don't want you to worry about finding certifications if you haven't been in that position. What I really don't want you to do is to go take non-accredited, non-CEU courses that promise you are going to learn these skills and get certified, and then you find out they don't mean anything because you don't actually have experience in that position. What I want you to do is focus all that energy and attention on finding a position that is willing to train you. It's just going to be better in the end because you're going to get the training that you need, and then you're going to get the certification that matters without wasting tons of money in the process. And a lot of these certifications promise that they'll help you get a job, which is just kind of a lie because nobody can guarantee you're going to get a job. So that wraps it up for the questions that I had lined up to talk about during this video. Like I said, if you have any additional questions, please drop them in the comments. I will either make an entire new video or a short about them. If you've gotten to this point, please like, subscribe, and share. It really helps so that I can continue to give this free content about remote nursing. Okay, go sit down. I gotta get through this. No, allez, ciao.